This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined, as always, by Adam Smith. We're here at the Liam Smith Smith-Eggington weigh-in in Liverpool. How you doing, Adam?
I'm very well, very excited about this massive weekend here in Liverpool. Not only the boxing on Saturday night, but we've got a huge game against Spurs on Sunday. So yeah, this is a fantastic couple of days for the city. I think it's 7,000-8,000 going to be at the M&S Arena on Saturday night. It's a stacked card, Rob. It's fantastic, top to bottom. Really happy with it. The atmosphere at the press conference at the weigh-in this week's been electric. There's some great stories on the card. Bit of needle, as we love to see. Lots of titles on the line, and lots of really good fights. So no, it should be great.
Before we come on to the actual card itself, the breaking news, the more immediate news is Scott Fitzgerald has failed to make weight for 2 attempts. Just your thoughts on that?
Scott's an enigma. I've always thought that since he turned pro. So much talent. Really like him. But he's done things his own way, and sometimes he's drifted off. I think he's really worked hard for this fight. I wouldn't read too much into it. I think he's in terrific shape. I think he's in the best shape he's ever been. So, maybe it's a slight miscalculation. I mean, he'll get through, it'll be fine, and the fight will be on, and then we'll find out not just more about Scott Fitzgerald, but more about Anthony Fowler, who's had things pretty much his own way as a pro. He's looked really good. He's obviously got a huge crowd behind him. He's got a great trainer in his corner in Dave Caldwell. But, let's see what Fitzgerald brings to the table, because, the bookies have got it a massive, massive one-way traffic to Fowler. And it could be that. It could be too big, too strong. But, Fitzgerald, if he can perform the way I've seen him perform at times, both in the gym and in flashes, in cameos, I think he can prove a problem. But it's about sustaining it. And that's a big question mark. And it's probably a big question mark for Scott.
Let's just talk about that atmosphere, because I was at the press conference yesterday and obviously the weigh-in today, and it has been a real raucous, sort of partisan atmosphere. We've obviously had David Price and Cash Ali as well. What do you think it's going to bring out of the fighters tomorrow night, particularly in that Fowler-Fitzgerald fight when they've done a lot of tickets in between them? There's obviously been this animosity in the build-up. Just how much could that play into tomorrow night?
There wasn't David Price and Cash Ali a surprise, eh? I met Cash a while ago, and I know he's always wanted an opportunity. And I think, with the cameras and the lights on him, I think he's taken that opportunity. He's adding something to the build-up, to the party. I think he's trying to wind Pricey up. David's been around a long, long time, and that's not going to bother him one little bit. But look, it's a good match. Ali's unbeaten. No one really knows how good he is. So I think David will keep calm, and I think we'll see what happens Saturday night. But it's obviously home advantage for Price, and he's got all the pedigree to get the job done. But I've been speaking to Fraser Clark. Ali's got a big right hand, and he's been sparring with him. And look, we'll see what happens. But yeah, look, I mean, it's great when you get an event like this. It does add an extra dimension, and the ticket sales not from Anthony, but from Scott as well. I think he's bringing a load of people from Preston is terrific. So that all adds to the mix, and they've got to keep cool and calm under pressure, and that's why they're professionals.
Let's just talk about the top of the card. Obviously, Liam Smith's first fight under the Matchroom banner on Sky Sports. Excited to see him in action for the first time? Very much
so. It's been a while since we've had Liam on Sky. Obviously, we've been following the Smith brothers for many, many years. We're all pretty close to them at Sky. We know them all really well. And Liam's the one that's obviously fought with Frank and on those shows, and he's done really well. He's been a world champion. He had that massive fight with Canelo. He's coming off a pretty good performance, I thought, against Jaime Munguia. He was good that night. He just, I know he had a lot of problems in the build-up. I thought he looked really young when he got on the scales. I thought he says it's like his pro debut all over again. And he's fighting an old mate in Sam Eggington. They've done 100 rounds together. They always have good spars. I think it'll be a really good fight tonight.
When we caught up with Liam Smith a couple of weeks ago, he said this fight is lose-lose for him, that he's on something of a hide into nothings. Obviously, the last time we saw Sam Eggington in the ring was against Hassan Moutinho. Do you agree with that? Is this kind of a lose-lose situation for Liam Smith?
I don't think it's a hiding for nothing at all. I've spent a lot of time with Liam over the last sort of 48 hours, and he's really excited about this. He's back at Liverpool. He's back in front of a big crowd. He's back on Sky, and he wants to deliver. He's got this new deal with Matchroom, with Eddie Hearn, and I think that he sees Kell Brook fights. He sees world title fights again, and I think Sam Eggington's probably the right fight at the right time. It's an opportunity for Sam. He's had a rough couple of years, but we know what we're going to get with Sam. He'll give it everything. He's a lively underdog, and that's what he likes to be. He likes that underdog status. John Pegg and Sam have been fantastic for the sport, and he'll give it absolutely everything. Liam should be a class too good for Sam-Eggington when they actually get under the lights, I think, tomorrow night. But no, I don't think he's going to be stale. I think he's going to be excited. I think he's going to want to perform, make a statement, and remind people that maybe in his opinion he's still the Smith brother to watch. Callum obviously has taken that mantle maybe in the last year or so with his brilliant success in the World Super Series. But Liam was world champion first. I think he wants to be world champion again. So I'm excited to see if that can happen.
Just touch on Sam-Eggington, because Sam is somebody who's had quite a topsy-turvy career. He's gone from kind of hot prospect to setbacks, and we boxed for the European title. He retired Paulie Malignaggi, which is something that in years gone by, I think we'll all as boxing fans kind of look back and, oh yeah, that did happen. But anyway, what is the future like for Sam-Eggington? Is he now falling into kind of gatekeeper territory? Is that kind of the career path he's likely to follow?
I don't know. I mean, Sam-Eggington's just been a great, you can almost say, stalwart servant to the game in his only mid-20s. Listen, what I love about Sam is that he took his chances in prize fighter. Denton Vassell was a massive win, and that just sort of spurred him on, and he just started beating everybody. Yeah, he even had that loss with Bradley Skeet, but he came back, and Frankie Gavin fight was a terrific win for him. So look, he just always gives us great value. I don't think a loss is a problem for Sam. I think he bounces back. Barry Hearn absolutely loves him, and look, he has had a couple of surprising performances of late, and I think that's been disappointing. But he also was voted Young Boxing Writers Fighter of the Year as well, and he's had the accolades. I think he almost prefers it, and so does John, when they're going in with nothing, no pressure, and that's what they're going in tomorrow night. You'll see Sam back to his best. Whether he'll win, I don't know, but he'll be back to his best, and I think it'll be a great action-packed fight for the fans. From their sparring, it can only be that. I think they've been very competitive all the way through. There's huge respect between the pair of them. I think it'll be a good long fight, and I think that we'll see plenty.
Obviously, we've had the kind of what word am I looking for here? The kind of the heavily hyped build-up, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. With unbeknownst to everybody, David Price and Cash Ali. Yesterday, we've obviously had Fowler and Fitzgerald. A fight I think that's going under the radar somewhat on here is Robbie Davis Jr. and Joe Hughes. That's a brilliant fight for the British and European title.
I like that fight probably as much as anything on the bill, if not more. We were with Joe Hughes in Italy when he was fantastic. He was absolutely brilliant. He brought his Malmesbury lot over. He's an absolutely genuinely authentic and lovely guy, Joe Hughes. And it's a great story with his Herbs palsy. What he's overcome. It's fantastic, and I've got nothing but respect for him. Robbie Davis Jr. has been brilliant. We saw him come of age, and it's a quality fight. It's a really good fight. It's probably the pick'em. It's certainly the trade fight of the night. Looking forward to it. I maybe fancied Davis slightly in it, just stylistically, but I wouldn't write off Joe Hughes. So I think it's a really good one. I think it's got 12 rounds written all over it, and I think fight fans are in for a treat there.
So we've got this card tomorrow night, which I think is fair to say is a very, very exciting card. And we've had Charlie Edwards last week, who was fantastic in defending his WBC World Flyweight title, both of which on free-to-air or on subscription on Sky Sports on a Saturday night. Sky, yourself, have come under criticism recently for what people perceive to be a lull in quality, I think it's fair to say, on a Saturday night. Is this the kind of show you're looking to put on going forwards?
100%. I think this is a great show, and I said yesterday at the press conference, I think this could be one of, if not the best show of the year, from top to bottom, and that's what we want. We want not just our Sky airtime, we want on Facebook Live, we want great fights as well. We haven't even mentioned the Commonwealth title fight, Philip Bowes and Tom Farrell, you've got Natasha Jonas on the bill, you've got Craig Glover, it's Paul Butler, it's a terrific card. And yeah, last week at the Copper Box, very similar, really good action, good fight. Charlie Edwards topping, but Joshua Boazzi maybe the star performer. Lawrence Okoli winning, and it was really good. And I think that's what we've got to have, these stacked shows, good atmospheres, and we're very happy. British boxing is still buzzing. Watch it tomorrow night. You'll see how many people are there. You'll see the great action in the ring. And all this talk about America, yes, America have come back in. There's a lot of money flying around over there. There's some big fights we're bringing from America. We were here yesterday with Anthony Crolla. We can't wait for that fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. We'll be in Vegas for Canelo Jacobs. Great fights happening over there. Don't forget what happens here. Don't forget the passion and the crowd and the fanfare and the fighters who want to appear here as well. And I think that we're going to get a whole range of new stars coming through, the likes of Josh Kelly, the likes of Joe Cordina, many others that are going to come through in the next year or two. Conor Benn's back, isn't he, April the 20th. You're going to have a great, Jordan Gill was fantastic the other week in Peterborough. There's going to be some terrific talent coming through, and British boxing's in a really healthy place, whether it's here, whether the fighters are getting chances over in America. It's great for everybody. The sport's flying, but as I said, tune in tomorrow and you'll see what a packed, buoyant British show's all about, and that's what we want.
You mentioned America, obviously, it's even with ESPN, with the likes of Tyson Fury and the rumours surrounding Billy Joe Saunders joining ESPN. We've seen DAZN come into the picture in the last 18 months or so with plenty of money. A lot of fans, myself included, I'm a Sky subscriber, you'll be pleased to hear, are kind of worried about the emigration, as it were, of our fighters. But Josh Kelly, Josh Buatsi is somebody who's rumoured to be boxing on the Anthony Joshua undercard. Callum Smith, another person. Doesn't make it easy to watch these guys when they're boxing at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Do you understand fans' concerns?
Well, I understand, of course, but we've got Josh Kelly on April the 20th, at prime time. We had Joshua Buatsi last week at prime time. They've got to get experience in America as well. Ricky Hatton back in the day, I think he had his second or third fight at Madison Square Garden. He was in Germany. They were in Atlantic City. Danny Williams as well. Those guys, back in the day, would also fight in America. So it's good for them. Conor Benn had an appearance out there, didn't he, on a Danny Jacobs card, and he had a problem with a rash, with an allergy that week to deal with, and they've got to deal with the jet lag, they've got to deal with the different surroundings. So I think it is important. Anthony Joshua's got to deal with all that on top of the top of the show. So, but yeah, I understand it, of course, as well. We would like to have everyone fighting between 7 and 10 o'clock if we could. They can't. There's too many fighters, and also there's a lot of opportunities for them abroad. So as long as we get the balance right, as long as we get a lot of great British action, between the hours of 6, 7 and 11 o'clock at night, and providing we get really good competitive stuff over in America, I think it's a great package that we're providing on Sky. As always, year in, year out, Rob, we keep producing really good action for our Sky customers. And as I always say, it's not just boxing, it's the whole range of Sky opportunities, options. We've got probably the closest Premier title race in many years in my beloved Liverpool and Manchester City, fighting it out for the spoils in May. That's electric. We've got the exclusivity on the Formula One. We've got the Formula One in Bahrain this weekend. We've got, of course, there's so much happening, and all the golf majors. We've got the Ashes and the World Cup in the cricket, the Women's World Cup as well. It's it's a great offering on Sky. It's not just about the boxing, but look, the likes of Vasil Lomachenko, Canelo, Jacobs, all fighting on Sky Sports. It's great, it's healthy. We're getting good British shows, we're getting good American shows, and long may it continue. We want to keep it packed and stacked, and obviously all the stuff we're doing on digital, on Sky Sports News as well, to make sure that our customers get the best we can provide them. We can't have everything, that, Rob. There's a lot of fighters, in Frank's stable on BT doing really well, and it's great to see the likes of Josh Warrington and Kid Galahad fighting, Billy Joe Saunders, as you said. I watched the Anthony Yard performance the other week, Daniel Dubois. I saw Anthony there. It's great competition and it's great for them, but boxing's flying, and boxing's flying partly because of us and partly because of Eddie Hearn as well, that developing over the number of years, great big shows. Frank Warren as well, putting on great shows over on the other side. We've got DAZN, ESPN, everyone coming into it because it's successful. It's great times for fans, but we want to make sure that our quality on Sky is the best. That's always our job. I've got a great team. I've got a dedicated team who are day in, day out trying to do that. And of course there are difficulties. We want to make sure that we get the right blend, and we're trying very hard to make sure that happens. But there's terrific shows coming up in Britain, terrific shows in America, and a Sky Sports box office event on June the 1st, which will be the sort of epicenter of the year, because we haven't had one since December, and that's great news for our value on Sky Sports. But when the box office event comes, like it will with Anthony Joshua and Jarrell Miller, and as you said, maybe Callum Smith and maybe Josh Kelly and Joshua Buatsi and Katie Taylor and all the other people rumoured to be on that night, we'll make sure it's a special event, and we'll build up to it and make it a night that people remember. But listen, I'm excited about tomorrow night. I'm excited about what's going to happen in here on Sky Sports in Liverpool. at the M&S Arena tomorrow. Get there early. It is going to be one ride, one great ride, and let's do it again at Liverpool, because they love their boxing here, and the fans will be out in force.
Just final word on kind of all things American. It's been widely publicised, kind of the $1 billion deal with DAZN. We've seen ESPN come into the market, ESPN Plus rather. Fox on Showtime have done very well, Fox and PBC. Where does Sky stand with regards to budgets? We've heard obviously an awful lot about billions and millions and tens of millions. Do you feel that you can realistically compete with that kind of money coming in from the streaming services?
Well, we're not going to discuss that. We're not going to discuss what's in our contracts. We've got a long-term contract with Matchroom. Not only for the boxing, but also with darts and various other things. With the gymnastics with them the other day. Matchroom and Sky have gone back 30 years, longer than I've been there. I've been there 25 at Sky. Loved every minute of it, by the way, and I want to make sure that every year is better than the last year. That's my job as head of boxing. But we work as a team. All the heads of, and Sky Sports runs in unison. We want to make sure the entire package across the sports is the best we can. So look, we're very committed to boxing, as we always have been. As I said, who else has been doing it every year in, year out? I started in '94, and that's when we had the Eubank World Tour. BBC, are they still knocking around? ITV have come and gone. They're back. They're doing the box office nights. BT have come in, and it's great. And as I said, we embrace competition. That's absolutely fine. But fundamentally, Sky has played a massive part in keeping boxing going in this country, and giving the opportunities to all these fighters to get under the lights and make money and have successful careers. And the likes of Ricky Hatton, who we pretty much took from start to finish. Carl Froch, we had a lot of his early part of the career and the end. David Hay, Amir Khan's back and forth a bit, but we've Joe Calzaghe for many years. We've been there at the top level of British fighters. Also, we've shown the likes of Oscar De La Hoya and Roy Jones and Shane Mosley and all the way through their careers as well. So, look, I think we're very secure in what we do at Sky. We love what we do. We work 24/7 on boxing, and we want to deliver the best we possibly can for our customers. The best possible talent, the likes of Carl Froch. We've got Tony Bellew and Carl Froch both there tomorrow night, along with Matt Macklin, Johnny Nelson, all our guys, and it's it's great. And also the move in women's boxing has been phenomenal. Having Katie Taylor has been fantastic. We've been right behind that as well. As Shannon Courtney making her debut last week, we've got Natasha Jonas back tomorrow night. Our own Anna Woolhouse presenting. It's great for women in sport, women in TV, and it's fantastic. And we're right behind that as well. So, we've worked very hard, and we'll continue to work hard. So don't you worry. Matchroom and Sky are great, and I just can't believe Eddie's not here today. He was here yesterday, and he'll be back tomorrow. But he's a busy guy, but we talk all the time, and we're really good, Rob. So don't worry about that.
So there's no need for me to cancel my Sky subscription?
Why would you? It's fantastic. It's got look at what we've got coming up. I don't have to go through it all again, but the Premier League, Premier League is going to be an unbelievable finish. The four majors. I cannot wait for the Masters in the golf. I cannot wait to see if Rory McIlroy can pull it off, or if Justin Rose can give a good run. We've got the US Open, the US PGA, our Open. We've got the cricket. I'm very, very close to the head of cricket at Sky. Excellent man in Brian Henderson, and he's got a massive summer lined up. They've got the men's and women's Ashes. They've got the World Cup. It's going to be phenomenal. Let alone all the other sports. We've got the NBA, the NFL, it's fantastic. The rugby league. It's terrific. And Formula One, as I said this weekend, takes centre stage. So does all the Premiership football. But we shouldn't forget the boxing, because it's going to be terrific this weekend. And we've got lots to look forward to in April. The likes of Anthony Crolla going over to LA. April the 20th, the big show at the O2. The 26th, we've got more action from the States. Canelo Jacobs. I think we're going to have a couple of good shows in May to announce pretty soon as well on home soil. So it's pretty good. And as I see Scott Fitzgerald running around trying to get those last couple of ounces off, that's all the great stories we have in boxing. It's a sport like no other, as you know, and we're right in it. We're right at the epicenter, Rob.
Just final word, because I know I've kept you for plenty of time. What's going on with Dillian Whyte? Me and you have spoken about this over the last few months. I know that previously you've been very, very keen for him to fight Alexander Povetkin. That's still very much on the table. What update can you give us on that?
I still am. I have no update on Dillian. I saw him last week. It was always good to see him. He's a great guy. He's had a couple of terrific Sky box office nights, hasn't he, for us, with Joseph Parker and with that great performance over Derek Chisora. We very much hope that Dillian will be back in July. We very much hope we'll be covering him, and I very much hope it will be one of Alexander Povetkin or Luis Ortiz. Very hard to make these fights, obviously. It's not my job to make them. That's up to Eddie. That's up to see what happens with the WBC. They're putting them under all sorts of pressure, and Maurizio Suleiman was here last week. So we wait and see Dillian's next move. But yes, you know what I feel. I wanted Amir Khan and Kell Brook, and I still want it. I haven't got any further forward with that. I thought we were very close a couple of times. We're not. I'd like Dillian to fight Alexander Povetkin. I think it's the perfect fight for him.
How important is it for Sky Boxing to have him box on Sky Sports while we watch? Oh, lovely! Yeah. While we watch Scott Fitzgerald.
Do we need that, Rob?
We'll have a look at that. We'll just take a look and see if he makes the weight. Appreciate this is quite strange. Oh. And he's made the weight. Last word just before we wrap up, Adam, because we're still rolling, unfortunately. Scott Fitzgerald makes the weight for everybody who's watching. Apologies if you saw a little bit more than you're accustomed to seeing on Boxing Social. But yeah, final question. How important is it to have Dillian Whyte boxing on Sky Sports box office when there's been the rumours about him with ESPN and Tyson Fury, etc.?
Well, you and I know that Sky Sports box office events are always taken one by one. We have a look and see whether we think it's right for Sky Sports box office. It's a big decision to make. We've got so much on Sky Sports, and as I said, we haven't had a box office event since December. The next one is Anthony Joshua against Jarrell Miller. AJ is a Sky Sports box office fighter. We look at the fights. We look at what the cards are that Eddie will come to us with, and we'll make a decision there. So no, it's step by step with that. Dillian Whyte, yes, I want to see him in a big fight, and let's hope we can get that made. So for me, it's Povetkin or Ortiz or someone like that, and we can have a big show in the summer.
Okay, Adam Smith, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Glad to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at it's not the Echo now, it's the MS Arena. M&S Arena. Thanks very much.
And thankfully, Fitzy's made the weight, and we've got a fight. All right.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.